Welcome back. I'm excited. We have talked about the structure for responsive teaching. We've talked about what responsive teaching is. And now let's take just a couple of minutes to think through how can we plan for responsive teaching. And in your unpack, so I want to give you a couple of tips that are going to really be helpful and beneficial for you so that you are ready as you go out into your classroom and start doing this responsive teaching to your priority standards efficiently, and it won't be as daunting. It'll be less overwhelming. I am going to share with you my screen. I am taking us to an Unpacked Standard that we have seen before. And this Unpacked Standard is on merging onto the highway at 55 miles an hour. So what you'll notice is we've unpacked the standard, have the different levels of thinking from the cognitive rigor matrix, have explicit learning targets. Then we decided what students need to know, understand, be able to do, the implicit learning targets, and then created a progression. And I took all of those skills and created a narrative. So when you look at this, you'll see there's a clear progression to the mastery of a skill within that standard. So students need to be able to use time and space to merge onto a highway at 55 miles per hour, but we're going to be starting with students at the beginning of the year or early in their experience, identifying rules of the road, and then being able to go out and start applying the rules of the road, using their speed to merge on the highway, and then using time and space to merge onto the highway. As you go to your next page of your document, here's the tool that's going to be really helpful. And you can do this in your planning meetings, in your PLC, however it works for you. And this is where we think about, what does it look like to teach this target, or you could change that to skill, in the classroom. So the first thing that I like to do is I like to have a progression, or think through what has to be taught first, what has to be taught second, what has to be taught next. And I think about here, I'll just pick this one skill here. First, I need students to know the rules of the road, right? So I need them to know speed, or, I need them to understand their speed. I need them to understand the lines on the road. I need them to understand the lanes. I need them to understand their turns, using turn signals, their signals. I need them to I need them to know speed, the lines, the lanes, the signals. I need them to know how to increase or decrease speed, right? I need them to know all those things. And as I start to move across here, the next thing that I think about is I need them to start being able to apply that. So I want them to be able to, I'm going to have to teach them. So here, when I think about teaching them, this is just going to be know, and they need to be able to identify that. They need to know it. They need to be able to identify that in a situation. So if I were in the classroom, we might be using a book. We might be using videos. I might be teaching and having them identify that it's a safe time to merge because there are dotted lines. That's how that could go. But now I'm going to get them to be able to use speed to merge onto a highway. So we've been watching it. We've been talking through it. They have the background knowledge. Now it's time for them to actually go out, and I'm going to teach them how to merge onto the highway. So do you see what I'm doing? I'm taking one part of the standard, one skill, And I'm going to have different levels, the 3 different levels of teaching that I'll be teaching them. So we're going to teach them to merge onto a highway, going to actually go out, model, and let students practice. We actually used to do this when I was a kid. And we will do it in a low traffic area, right? So we're going to go out where there's not a lot of people, and we're going to go try this. So do you see, I'm starting to think about, like, what does it look like to teach this target? Well, now, what materials do I have in my curricula? So I might look at my textbook. I might have videos. I might have an anchor chart. I might have a process chart that explains the steps. I might have a strategy. So a strategy here is to, we talked about match your speed of the traffic we are merging into. Don't get out there and just be really slow. You're asking, that's going to be a strategy that I'm going to teach. So do you see how I'm doing this? I'm thinking about what are the different levels of a particular skill in my progression. And I'm just quickly thinking, okay, what do I need to teach for them to be here, or for them to be here, or for them to be here? What materials do I have in my classroom already to teach that? So it just gets it on your mind. What are some strategies that I could use to teach each of these parts? And then think about the setting. So for this particular course, the setting matters. So this could be classroom work. This could be on the road work. A lot of this could be, if you could have some sort of virtual simulation, this might be a virtual simulation, and then outside in the field work. And then here you could start maybe with a simulation and out in the field work. So there are a lot of different ways I could go about teaching this. But when I take the time to figure out what I'm using and how to teach each of these parts, I'm ready when I get out in the classroom. So think about what we just did. What I just briefly did was I looked at a skill in the standard. I thought about how to teach each part of the progression and in an order. I thought about the materials that I have and the strategies that I would use to teach that. Now I want you to go back, and you're going to be going and doing that on your actual progression and on the document that you have. So I think you're ready. Off you go.